Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So, there's this point about this USAID thing that I think a lot of people are missing. The main target of the ire from the right on this is that we are wasting an absolutely absurd amount of money, which is true. And we have known this kind of vaguely, but now this is really like this is where the dollars and cents are being spent and how stupid a lot of these programs are. That's really what the right is focused on. I think looking at it from a slightly different point of view is important here because it's not just that we're wasting money. It's not just that we're wasting money on these hyper-liberal programs. One of the most impactful things is that this shows how fake all of this influence was, this entire shift to the left that's been happening for decades, not just at home. We already knew that it's media manufactured, which is also paid for, abroad. This whole global, consciousness kind of thing that, everybody all at once decided that transgenderism and the LGBT stuff and like the hyper left stuff, socialism, all this stuff is great, all at the exact same time. That was not organic whatsoever. It turns out that the United States has been paying for this to happen in all of these countries, which creates the illusion that it is some natural, human evolution, right? We just all together, all at once, morally grew into this position that we all agree all this stuff is great. Well, that's not the case. It's the fact that America itself has been funneling money through each one of these countries to push up the media, the entertainment, to all this stuff, the parades, the marches, everything has come from the American taxpayer. So it just proves it's even faker than we thought it was. It's not even organic. It's hard to even use the word organic, but it's not even like into its own country. Like it's not like France has developed a department for the ESG and the DEI and all that stuff by themselves. It's like everything is directly connected back to America. So this is really like cut the head off the snake on this one because all this money is going to go away. So it's going to evaporate overnight, all these programs, because these countries don't have an organic base. There's nothing created from themselves to actually like build and propagate these ideas. That's the real victory here. That's what I think is the real victory here is we're going to see immediately all this stuff dry up in all these countries. And that might have a bigger impact than you think because you think about it the reverse way, right? Like I said, all this stuff seems to be, it appeared to be just totally accepted, right? Widely accepted globally. We're all moving on. And the reason it looked like that is because small countries were even pushing this stuff. Well, it'll happen in reverse when small countries stop pushing this stuff and, in fact, go back to their natural state of not agreeing with this stuff. That will create the greater illusion of influence, right? The majority of countries, regardless of size, the majority of countries will kind of disavow this stuff. The racial stuff, all the amnesty stuff, the far left agenda, all the gender stuff, everything all together, all the environmental stuff to the fact of basically like we need to de-industrialize, all that sort of thing, all that's going to dry up. And then that is going to affect us again. Because we'll see that, wait, this isn't like everybody agrees on something. You no longer have to be the first person in the room to raise your hand and say, I don't like what's going on here. It's the majority of the people in the room. Yeah, they may not have the financial backing or the cultural influence or whatever to, really influence the world stage. But when the majority agrees on something culturally, that does have sway in one way or another. And so that will come back to affect the West very, very severely. And I think with the, internal pressure now that Trump has trying to remove all these institutions and cut their funding and all that stuff, and the external pressure of other countries saying, we reject this, we don't want this is shown to not be good. And then when they have societal development beyond what's happening now because they're handicapping themselves with all this stuff, spending money on it, creating problems by pushing all these sort of ideals and agendas. If societies grow out of that, Suddenly it's not just like, well, we're all suffering together, we're all facing these problems. Like, no, you don't have to have these problems because we just stopped doing them. We stopped manufacturing them because America was paying us to. So that, I think, is the real victory here. And Trump's cutting off the taps. They're really going after it. And that's why the Democrats are so mad, because this took 100 years to build up. This is institutional power that took a long, long time to set up. Basically all the sort of shell agencies that the money gets transferred through before it goes to these places. So it's kind of hidden. And the level of bureaucracy. I mean, how long does it take to build up something without people noticing? It takes a long, long time to get to the size where the federal government is at and the amount of money we were spending on this stuff that nobody really noticed. And Trump's tearing it down in a matter of weeks. He's doing hundreds of years of damage to them. It's going to take them a long, long time to recover from the things Trump's doing. If he keeps going, if he actually goes for the jugular on this stuff, he starts having stricter requirements for government, for voting, the term limits, the age limits, getting rid of lobbying, doing irreversible damage to the sort of long concocted plan they were able to do the first time, and now they'll probably want to do again after this. I think the people are more awake. I think Trump will do that sort of damage if he keeps on track. And they won't be able to pull this sort of shenanigan again. And it won't be like it's been for the last several decades where Republican gets in, Democrat gets in, Republican gets in, Democrat gets in, and basically nothing changes and everything gets slightly worse over time. Nothing ever really gets that much better. No, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think we're actually finally at the point where we're going to trend upwards. And I'm thankfully that I was wrong about this. I thought Trump was going to get in and fix the economy, deport some people, be like relatively fine. And we'd still have to wait for a lot of the stuff. But it seems like Trump has come out swinging way harder than I thought he was going to. And probably a lot of people thought he was going to. So I'm praying that he keeps on track here and he does more of the stuff. But it's going to be hard for the American people to look at this. And at the end of 4 years, if he does a lot of the things he's promised, and then even some of this crazy stuff like this USAID thing was not really on the docket. Besides like, oh, we're just going to cut out government waste and corruption. This is kind of something that came out of nowhere, really, to like the American people's consciousness and really in their eyes as like a huge problem. But at the end of 4 years, if Trump does stuff like this, like totally got rid of all the government waste, got rid of all this sort of like lobbying bureaucracy, education, numerically, you can see it gets better once it goes back to the states. If you can see at the end of 4 years how much better that is, how much better a lot of the state funding is for whatever projects they have going on, whatever, right? And you get rid of income tax, you get rid of a lot of the federal taxes or all of them. You have the tariffs, all this sort of stuff that's going on. It'll be very hard for the Democrats, especially because the media apparatus will dry up. They'll have nothing left. Nobody watches them anyways now. And now if you cut off their, inorganic funding they were getting from the government, then suddenly they're going to have no money to even exist anymore. So that they won't be able to cover this up and create this false narrative anymore. But people will look at that and it'd be really hard to justify not voting for another Republican, not voting for a very conservative person. And I think that's really where we want to be, is actually get something done that it's like, man, I don't have to pay any taxes anymore. It'd be so hard to vote for the other guy versus the guy who just, got rid of all your taxes. Obviously not Trump, but like the party and whoever he, king makes, whoever he decides to put up. It'll be really hard for the American people to say, I want to go back, right? So that's what we're going to see, I hope. We'll have to see what else Trump does if he stays on track. I said this before. I'm blown away, but I said this before that his momentum, it's up to him. He can make or break his own presidency. There's really no external factors that can stop him. It's just about his courage and his determination and what he thinks he wants to leave as a legacy, whether he wants to play it safe or, go incredibly hard in the paint. It's up to him. And if the ball is rolling momentum-wise, people will look at that. They'll say, this is great. We love this. Keep going. Do more. Do more. Like this whole Elon Doge thing, going from department to department, everybody's like, do this one next. Now this one. That's what I said. When you get the momentum going, I think Trump really gets swept up in it. And it's like, I want to do more. I want to do another thing. I want to be praised more. I want to see more accomplished. I want to leave a better legacy. There's some ego in there for sure, but I think he's also like, oh wait, we can actually do this. Like we can get this done, and we'll keep going. So that's what I want to see. I think that's what's happening. And I'm just excited week to week about what's going to happen next, because I don't even know anymore. It's hard to even guess. Things coming out of nowhere I never would have thought of. So I'm just as interested as a lot of you are. I'm invested. So if you want more videos like this where I talk about this, I try to reframe things from another angle. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And thank you for watching.